Airbnb was originally a service that allowed you to stay on an air mattress when you were attending a conference, but over time it has evolved into a service that's most commonly used to rent a private room in an apartment or an entire apartment instead of a pricey hotel. Over time, the platform has introduced even more options, one of the most notable being Airbnb Plus, which is an upgraded, more consistent experience that's almost like staying in a hotel. But Airbnb Plus is not the only way to get a hotel-like experience on the platform. There have been other service providers, some small and some big, that are offering hotel-like experiences on Airbnb. I recently spent 2 weeks in Europe and I stayed in Airbnbs that were a lot more like hotels than they were Airbnbs, and I wanted to share my experiences with you. For the first part of our trip, we were going to stay in Tbilisi, Georgia in anticipation of a wedding, and we found that the Airbnbs seemed to be a very good value compared to hotels in the city. The hotels were not that expensive compared to the US, but the Airbnbs, there were a number of really, really nice ones for not a lot of money. And we found this one Airbnb hotel of sorts called Telescope, which bills itself as an apart hotel. And basically what that ends up being is it's in an apartment building, a fourth floor walk up, older apartment building that's in relatively decent shape. But the entire space of Telescope is completely renovated, and it was actually only renovated about 2 months before we stayed at the apart hotel. If you take a look at the pictures, you can see that it's quite a nice space. It looks a lot like a modern hotel room. You'd probably pay several $100s per night in an American city, and it actually even has a small kitchenette that's outside of the room, but it's still accessible from the hotel, so you could actually cook and go buy groceries and things like that. You can see the approach to the hotel here. This would be the top of the stairs going up to it, and it's nearby to a really cool space called Fabrica, which I talked about in my time shifter video. So we found out that the price was really good here. Right now it's listing as $29 a night for the dates currently selected. We paid around $35 to $37 a night when we stayed, which was still a really good value for what you're getting. We actually stayed in both hotel rooms at Telescope because we stayed in Tbilisi at the beginning of our trip in Georgia and then one night at the end of our trip in Georgia. And between that we were in wine country, so we wanted to try both rooms in Telescope. And the other one is equally nice. It has a different view of the city, but it's still accessible with the same amenities, the same kitchen, and it was quite well designed as well. The current Telescope Hotel is a fourth floor walk up with no elevator, and you have to get through a gate with a security code to even enter the building. There's no hotel reception or anything like that. But once you are in the apartment, then it starts to look more like a hotel. It has a room that is very hotel-esque, and it's very modern and up-to-date. The finishes are very nice. Now currently, Telescope only has 2 rooms. They're expanding to more than 2 rooms, and even including a hostel downstairs. So that will be pretty exciting. There's actually some construction noise in the background that I believe is due to them making improvements to other rooms in the space. Now, what you get with Telescope is a hotel room with very nice finishes. There's even a kitchen, a basic kitchen, which has a microwave, a stove, and a refrigerator. In the room, you have what you would normally expect from a hotel, things like a refrigerator. Even have glasses of wine, or glasses for wine, and glasses for water. You can drink the tap water here, which is a nice thing for a country in this area of the world. A lot of places around here you cannot drink the water, but in Georgia you can. Even though there's no reception, the owner of the place has been super receptive and quick to respond to all of our requests. They let us do things like leave our bags late, so we can come pick them up without having to use a left luggage service. And they were very responsive to our other requests as well. So overall, we're paying not a lot of money, especially compared to other hotels in the area where you might pay a lot more than this and get a good experience, but to pay the same price, about $35 a night, you're not really going to get the same level of quality in the experience. Keeping in mind that you don't get things like an elevator. It was a little bit difficult to find in the beginning, although that was partly my fault because I never clicked the start check-in button on the Airbnb app. Although I discussed that with the owner, and he's gonna make that even more clear how to get check-in, so we don't have to ask 30 people to find the place. And overall, it's pretty good. So if you don't mind, a little bit of an adventure finding the place. If you don't mind walking up 4 flights of stairs and not having the daily cleaning, if you can go a few days without having your towels replaced and things like that, I think you'll be very satisfied with this type of apart hotel, especially for what you're getting for the price. For the second part of our trip, we decided to stay in London, and London is a notoriously expensive city, but we found this brand called Sonder, which refurbishes apartments and even has started making their own hotel-like spaces, but they mostly use Airbnb to list their properties. So I'm actually on the Sonder website here, and you can see that you can book the different rooms and properties available on Sonder directly from their website, but we had a gift card on Airbnb, so we decided to do that. And we decided to stay at Sonder's Edgware Road Hotel, which actually already was a hotel that was very recently renovated into Sonder's new space. And it very much looks and acts like a hotel. It's got a reception desk and things like that, but not with all of the trappings of a hotel. So as you can see, currently this hotel room is listed at $83 per night, but that might change based on the exact dates. One thing that's a bit frustrating about searching for hotels on Airbnb is if you have a specific property that you want to stay at, it's not possible to search the name of that property on Airbnb. For example, the name of this property is the Sonder Edgware Road Hotel, and if I search Sonder Edgware or Sonder Edgware Road Hotel on Airbnb, I actually get no results when I go and search for it. So there is a bit of a workaround. It's a bit of a pain, but you can do it. So the first thing to do is find the name of the hotel and then go on Google Maps and search for it. And you'll see that it's located right here, and this is actually Edgware Road right here, and there's these 2 tube stations that are very close by. So you can see that it's right around the corner here. So find the location on Google Maps and then make a mental picture of what that map looks like and go back to Airbnb. And then I'm going to just type in the nearby tube station, Edgware Road, which should show up as a landmark. So Edgware Road, London, stays, I can search for that, and that will come up. Then there's a couple more things you want to do. So the first would be to select the type of place, hotel room, and save. And then the last thing to do is to zoom in on the map so that you have the hotel block pretty much centered on the map, but you don't want to zoom in too close because, as you can see, a lot of these results here are for Sonder. Here's one, there's another one. So these are all the different rooms you can book at Sonder, the ones that start with Sonder Edgware Road Hotel. But you can see, when I'm moving down the map, there's one here, there's one here, there's one over here. So you don't want to zoom in too close. But if you can get the few surrounding blocks around the hotel, that's going to be the best way to see all the available rooms for the dates that you're trying to book. So today's Saturday, and it's the day that we're checking out from the Sonder Hotel. We actually already did. And so I was able to gather some interesting thoughts on the whole experience over the past few days. Number one is the main thing I can say about it is that it's like a hotel, but it's stripped back. So there's no front desk reception most of the time. They only have somebody at the front desk between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., which is, we weren't at the hotel at all during those times. The second thing is that there's no daily cleaning, so you can pay to get the hotel room cleaned. It's about £25, I believe, and they would do it once over. But otherwise, the only thing you could really do for free in terms of cleaning was requesting new towels and maybe bathroom tissue and things like that, but not a full cleaning. We decided just to keep the place relatively clean and go without it. It was fine considering we only clean our house at home once a week. We survived. Nothing wrong with that. The one complaint that I had about our hotel room in particular, and I don't think that this would expand to other hotel rooms, but ours had a really strange placement of outlets in the room. There were no outlets near the desk, and there were about 4 outlets behind the credenza. I think that was because they had initially planned to locate the desk and the cabinet in different places and then ended up changing that, but it was really inconvenient because you couldn't plug in your laptop by the desk. But the one nice thing about Airbnb is that we actually booked this room, number 601 specifically, so I can write that in the review that this specific room has strange outlet placement, and it doesn't necessarily apply to the hotel as a whole. Now, the hotel was pretty conveniently located. It was right around the corner from the Edgware Road tube stations, which serve multiple train lines. So it was very convenient and ultimately very hotel-like. And I think that the places where they stripped some of the features out were very convenient. Now, in terms of accessing the hotel room, all you had to do was enter a key code at the main entrance and then another key code at the room itself. So there was no need to get a card or to go retrieve a key from somebody. And we actually had that issue in Tbilisi where we left our bags but left the key, and then when we came back there were no keys available, so the owner of the place had to come back and rescue us, and we still made it to the airport in time, but it was a bit nerve-wracking. This wouldn't really have that problem because they can dynamically allocate people just with key codes. The concierge of the hotel was pretty convenient. Now, they didn't have anyone at the front desk hotel, but they were able to answer our questions relatively quickly via the app. It took around a half hour to an hour per time we had a request. And the other thing that they didn't have was a left luggage service. So we weren't able to leave the bags at the hotel directly, but we did book with a service called Stasher. For only a few pounds, we were able to leave our bags at an actually more convenient location here in Shoreditch, where we're leaving from today, instead of over by Edgware Road, which is where the hotel is. So that ended up working out, but it would have been nice to have the left luggage option. So you can see that there are many places where they strip back the hotel experience, and that's part of what you're paying for. But overall, the quality of the room was quite good. It was very modern, had only been recently redone, and overall, the price for what you're getting was definitely worth it. So overall, I would say that the Airbnb hotel-like experiences were worth it. You had most of the same comforts of a hotel without some of the features. And if you don't mind some of the uncertainty that you tend to get with an Airbnb anyway, if you can deal with some of that, I would say that the Airbnb hotel-like experiences tend to be a very good value. So I would definitely recommend giving it a shot, as long as you are open to a little bit of uncertainty sometimes. Now, if you're interested in trying Airbnb yourself and you haven't yet, I have a referral code and it's in the link below. What you get is $40 off your first booking with Airbnb. And in addition, if you try Airbnb experiences, which are like tour guides or cooking classes and things like that, you can get $15 off once you spend $50 on an experience. So overall, this is a $55 value by using my referral code instead of signing up directly. And just for full transparency, I do get a $30 discount or credit toward my Airbnb account every time somebody uses my link and books a trip or an experience. But overall, this is a very good value, and I'd highly suggest it because you get even more money off of your first Airbnb experience, and it's already it tends to be a very good deal in comparison to a hotel. So I would definitely recommend giving my link a shot if you do end up using Airbnb for a hotel-like experience.